So I work with ambitious, visionary women in leadership, entrepreneurship, the creative arts, women who've got a vision for contributing significantly to the creation of a more beautiful world. Yeah. So they've got a talent, they've got a skill, a gift, a training, and they're wanting to use that to steward in a new, more sane, humane era in our collective well-being, right? And often the women that I work with find themselves in one of these positions. Either they're doing this work, but they're really overextended, they're pulled thin, they're overcommitted, overworking, and they're teetering on the edge of burnout. And it's feeling like they're doing all of the things, but they're not deeply resourced enough to really do the thing that they're here to do. Or they've had an experience of burnout and they've gone on a healing journey and they've learned to soften and replenish themselves, but there's still this calling to contribute, or there's a bigger vision of what they're here to do. But as they begin to dream into that or think into that, there's a fear that emerges, and it's a fear that they'll go back to overworking, overgiving, overstretching, and that means they're not fully stepping into this next version of their calling, their success. Yeah. So it tends to be one of these two areas. They're either doing it, but in a way that's not sustainable, or they've healed from that. They're ready for their next version, their next stepping in, but the fear of coming back to this place of burnout is stopping them from really taking that leap. So that can show up as kind of procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome over here. And over here, it's just you're tired, under-resourced, feeling like this is great, but it's not going to last long, or there's no way I can sustain this. Yeah. And so what I do with women is I help women discover, uncover their unique blueprint, their unique way of doing things that means they can really contribute and lead and fulfill their desires, but from a place of deep nourishment and nurturing, and like a well of being well resourced. So we don't have to choose between the two. Yeah, it's possible to do both, to be incredibly well resourced and nourished, and ambitious, successful, really contributing the thing that you're here to contribute and going big with your dreams. Yeah. So that's what I do, is I help women rewire that system to allow expansion that feels enjoyable, and that doesn't sacrifice the day-to-day enjoyment of life and presence and time and energy for a future goal. Actually, you can live a really delicious life now, and that is the grounds for achievement, ambition, success in the world. Yeah, it's not an either or. So often when women are trying to readdress this balance between career success and living a deeply nourished, enjoyable life, the thing that we can turn to is like productivity hacks, time management, things like that, often invented by men. Yeah. And often with this subtle but insidious message that there's something wrong with you, like that there's something wrong with you that you should be able to fix. And if you just fix it, this all falls into place. And I actually think it's that subtle, insidious idea that there's something wrong with us that is the seed, the thing that creates this situation in the first place. So it's like we're trying to heal the problem with the problem. It's because we don't feel like we're good enough. It's because we feel like there's something wrong with us, that we're somehow less valuable as we are, that leads us to overwork, overgive, overcommit, overstretch ourselves. Do you see what I mean? We're given these dual messages as women. From birth, we're given this subtle messaging that we're less valuable and there's something wrong with us. And we're also given this thing of we can have it all, you can achieve it all, but you have to do it all perfectly, you know? So then I'll speak for myself. I just got totally, without knowing it, trapped inside that landscape. This idea that I needed to work and prove myself, and I needed to do everything in my life perfectly and amazingly. And so then that's when we end up completely exhausted, completely overcommitted, overgiving, overworking, and totally under-resourced. So my take is this: you're totally good enough just as you are. We don't need to change you. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. A woman is not a problem to be fixed. There's something very wrong with the system. There's something very wrong with the culture. And we can put our eyes and our talents towards changing the culture rather than this constant need to somehow change ourselves or be someone we're not. So really at the heart of the work that I do is holding a woman in that sense of her good enoughness, and not even her good enoughness, her like total deliciousness and wonderfulness. Yeah, I really feel like self-acceptance is not enough. What we need is radical self-delight. You are amazing. And what if you held the view that you're amazing and you didn't need fixing? What would you stop doing if that was the lens? What would you no longer need to prove or make up for if you held this view of your own deep worthiness and that deep sense of peace with who you are? And then from there, that's when we can uncover what it is you're really here to do and how you're here to do it. Yeah. So rather than trying to fit into external boxes or ideas of what should be achieved or how something should be done, we get to discover our own pathways and our own ways of doing that are led by joy, that are led by pleasure, that are going to be uniquely yours. So really what I'm trying to help women do is stop trying to fix themselves, be someone they're not, really come home to who they are with a deliciousness about it and a sense of like deep delight in that. And then from there, really begin to liberate their creative expression, their gift, the thing that they're really here to do and how they want to do it from a place of joy and pleasure, which means when we find that thing, it is regenerative. It's life-giving rather than depleting. It's sustainable. It can be done for a lifetime because it feels good, you know? And that's the thing that you're really here to give the world, is from your pleasure, from your joy. And so, yeah, it's about taking you from overworking and over functioning to overflowing.